What's up, welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Better Man, the new music biopic film from Michael Gracie about the life and career of British pop star Robbie Williams. Yes, another music biopic film is here, something we get often, as we know. We had the Amy Winehouse biopic film earlier this year with Marisa Abela. Next year, of course, we're getting the Michael Jackson film. We're getting the Bruce Springsteen film starring Jeremy Allen White. This is a common IP, as it were. And of course, these movies are not always successful, but of course, they can reach great highs, like Bohemian Rhapsody did monetarily anyway. Now, Better Man was not a movie I was exactly anticipating because as an American, I didn't really have much relationship with the music of Robbie Williams or even the band Take That, for that matter. I like pop music, but my experience with British boy bands is largely uh, with One Direction, and that's about it. So I just was pretty unfamiliar with Robbie Williams, whose I think mainstream success and his attempt at United States success was kind of before my time anyway, so I didn't really know much about the story. The appeal of Better Man in terms of why it's different and better than most music biopic films is twofold. It's really candid about the struggles that Robbie Williams had with fame, his vices, his character flaws. Pretty unbearable person at times as fame allowed him to make his problems even worse for himself. And the other side of it, of course, is that it's quite fantastical. There are sequences that are not supposed to be taken literally, whether that's something underwater, or the most obvious of all is the fact that Robbie Williams the whole time is portrayed as a chimpanzee in this movie. While the meaning behind that is hardly subtle, the film does, I think, hold your attention because it's just a bit unlike most music biopic films, which are very Wikipedia, very sanitized, very recappy. I would compare the honesty of the storytelling and the fantastical elements visually to Rocket Man, which also happens to be my favorite music biopic film of recent years. And these choices to differentiate the film, I think, really help this because otherwise this would be a pretty familiar music biopic story structure, right? Rags to riches story, someone who finds fame and suddenly there's problems. They have vices, they have issues, struggles in their life, struggles in their career. Just because you have all the money doesn't mean you have it all, doesn't mean you're happy. We know those themes, and those themes are speaking to the life of Robbie Williams, so it makes sense that why they're here. Nothing wrong with that, but this film actually has enough inspiration behind it, and Robbie Williams, who is in fact the narrator of the movie, even though he's not the voice actor behind his actual character in the movie, Robbie Williams is candid enough and forthright enough to have that in this movie, which is great. On one hand, a lot of like the again common daddy issues stuff that is a big part of this plot and a source of a lot of Robbie Williams' struggles and trials and tribulations in his personal life. That on one hand might feel super familiar and rote in a certain sense, but at the very end, there's a pretty rousing like final sequence between Robbie and his dad that honestly I think is pretty heartwarming, and I do think it works. In terms of the take that stuff in the beginning, I thought there was a really fun, extended dance sequence when everyone's like kind of dancing in public. Again, not supposed to be taken literally. To the song Rock DJ. I think that one was quite fun. The CGI itself, obviously, CGI and motion capture with the chimp done by Weta Digital. I think it looks really good. It's very convincing. And there's also a handful of other sequences that are certainly not supposed to be taken literally that I think look pretty good. I'll be curious to see how successful this movie is in the UK specifically, because obviously the UK is the place where most people have a relationship with Robbie Williams. I don't expect this movie to be successful in the US, and the tracking is certainly very low. So I'll be curious what the response is over in the UK, where Robbie Williams was a much bigger deal. It is cool to have the Oasis cameos in this movie, just as a bit of cultural continuity. That's pretty fun. And honestly, I gotta hand it to Michael Gracie because he's most famous, of course, for directing The Greatest Showman, which is a musical film as well that found great success. One of the best box office multiples in recent years, if you look into that, of course. But that's a film that also isn't very good despite its popularity. This is a much more inspired take on a traditional film format. So hats off to him. I also, enjoyed my time with it, not knowing much of the Robbie Williams story, not having really any baggage going in. I thought it was pretty fun. But let me know, what did you think of Better Man? Did you like it? Did you not? Are you a Robbie Williams fan? Let me know. And for more movie reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.